Okay.
So what we're trying to do, Tighten It, is to be an integration on top of Slack to give you all of the features to build up your engaging and interactive community in a way that you don't have to leave Slack to get these companies or to get these features. It's all within Slack itself. So let me show you an example. So this is one part of the Tighten It platform. What you see here might look kind of like a forum, a traditional forum, maybe like Reddit a little bit. So people are familiar with this and what it looks like. You've got feeds here, you've got like events, you've got posts that you can click into, and then you can see, they might have comments okay, so this one would have comments down here. All right, so if people are familiar with this format. What you're seeing here is entirely Slack. This is all driven by things that are going on, content that is being created within your Slack workspace here. So for example, let's say I want to surface what's going on within my help channel onto the web so people can find it. People will be able to Google it and find it. This is what it would look like in their help channel, so that people that might have questions about my business or my company can come here and then actually find these questions, the answers to these questions themselves. So that's
Okay.
one part of what we do. And this in particular is to help out on SEO, so that the activity that's going on within your Slack workspace helps build up SEO equity. And then we also offer other things within the Slack workspace itself, such as events. So you can run events within Slack, and then you can get recognition through things like badges and milestones and journeys and things like that, so that what's going on within your Slack workspace is a lot more engaging to your members.
Okay, makes sense. Good.
Cool. So let me stop there and ask if you have any questions. Yeah, so at the moment right now, it's just my co-founder and I. So it's a very small, scrappy startup. We like to move really fast, and we're really customer obsessed. So whatever we're looking for, whatever our customers want next in terms of features. I want to bring this into Slack. I want to be able to do this in Slack. And we need to be able to see what's going on in our community. That's really what drives us. So as you can imagine, being one of the first engineering hires at this company, you would be wearing lots of hats. We would need you quickly going from point A to point B and working on lots of different parts of the stack.
Okay, I see. Good.
In terms of our stack, we what you saw on the website part, that is TypeScript and React on top of Next.js in Vercel.
Okay.
And then on the Slack side, we have a Slack application. This is a Slack app, and that's built on Cloudflare workers. And our backend is a Postgres Supabase database.
Okay, good.
Okay, so can you, in terms of this tech stack, can you tell me which part of those you already have experience with?
Okay, I just don't have experience with the backend part, or say Next.js. And what was the other one for the backend that you use? Next.js?
Postgres and Supabase was the
Yes, those technologies I don't have knowledge. I worked with JavaScript on backend using Node.js in the past with Loopback, which is a framework for the backend. But the front end side, I don't have experience with this technology you have. This application runs on the cloud.
one sec. So let me make sure I'm clarifying this. So Postgres,
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 I have experience with that.
Postgres. Okay, okay.
The
Just
database, right?
the
Yeah,
database. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
With that
So
I have.
that's
I just
cool,
don't
cool.
have with Next.js yet.
Next.js. Okay, but you do have React experience, right?
Yes, yes, I do have.
Okay, great. Yeah. What I guess React or JavaScript front end frameworks have you worked in?
Okay, most of the time with Angular, React, but in the past with jQuery too,
Mm-hmm.
which is a little older, and
Yep.
a little experience with Sencha, which is a particular framework for developing mobile applications, but from a couple of years ago. That's not being used today anymore, I guess.
Do you have any experience with Cloudflare workers?
No, no, with that, not yet.
No. So let me just list off some of those tools within there. So there's like workers, KV, durable objects, queues, workflows. Anything in there?
You mean inside the Cloudflare context?
Yeah, inside Cloudflare ecosystem.
Don't have knowledge of that. Don't
Okay.
have experience yet.
Cool. Well, that's a quick overview of TightKnit. Before we move on, do you have any questions about the company or about our status?
Okay, no, it seems to be clear. It's a startup that does integrations with Slack and use those technologies to achieve that, right? And you have you and your CEO on the
Yep.
team and need an engineer to help you build things and
Yep.
features for the clients. Okay,
So yeah. I should
think I
mention
got
both myself and my CEO, my co-founder, are technical. So we've both been building this up to now, and
Okay.
we're hitting enough scale with customers that now we need help.
I see. Yes, that makes sense.
All right. So can you? I see that you've worked previously remotely with U.S. companies in the past. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience doing that? Did you enjoy or dislike remote work? What parts did you like? What parts did you dislike? And how did you stay aligned with the companies?
Okay, for sure. I worked for a couple of companies. The first one was when I was at IBM as a consultant, and I was working for T-Mobile and Sprint when they did the merge. Later, I worked with Dell, the computer manufacturing company. Then, on the past year, I was working on a small company from United States called IT Synergistics, which is from blood donations business. And on the past about 10 months, I have been working with Walt Disney on projects from the taxes part of the company. So I'm enjoying very much everything. The remote work for me is amazing. It's something I really enjoy a lot. The American culture, when it comes to work, seems to be very good from a Brazilian point of view because of both the time zone, it's great, so I can start on a better local hour in Brazil, and the culture of the day by day work, the meetings are very clear and people tend to be more direct on what they are saying. So I enjoy very much this setup of working.
Great. Um, can you talk about some of your favorite technologies that makes you excited?
Okay,
And personally, what do you like?
okay. One is React. I like it very much to build the front ends. The way it's designed, it's very easy to understand and maintain things. So it's something I think is great. And another one is Spring in Java, which is a technology I use a lot of time. So it's something I'm very productive with. So I enjoy it because I know all the tools and everything that is used on the market to build things in Java and Spring. So those are my favorite technologies, both for the front end and for the back end. And on the cloud, I like the idea of the cloud, so you don't have to have your own infra for your applications, and you can configure everything on the cloud by demand, and those elastic parts that makes the computing go more memory, less memory, according to the needs of that moment. That's something that I guess is like a magic. I like very
Oh
much.
yeah. The less infrastructure we have to deal with, the better.
Yes, yes, for sure.
We feel the same way.
I like the Terraforms where you can configure that on a file. I didn't work very much with Terraforms, but the little I worked, I think it was a good way to do the infra part. So you just have a file and you configure everything there. That seems to be very good for me.
Great. Let me go back to React real quick. Is there, I guess, do you follow along with the newest updates or like what's going on in the React world these days?
The last version I worked was React 16. So I could, do those objects inside objects and pass things through one layer to another. And I was using VS Code on this particular project, so I could, follow the flow of information from one side to another. There is just one thing that is for me is a bad side of React, which is when you have something that you have a component that is deep inside another component, so it's nested, and you have to follow back the things in order to find how to get something from the top layer until this component. So that's something confusing for me. Not confusing, but very hard to do. It's very manual. You have to change a lot of files in order to get the information getting from the top to your component. But it
Yep.
depends of the architecture or of the application. So
Yep.
that's something.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's great. I was gonna ask you what's something you dislike about React, but that's exactly
Yes,
what I
there
wanted
was
to
a
know.
particular situation where I had to put when the system is loading something, I had to freeze the entire screen. But to do that, I had to put something on the parent component and give a lot of things to the child components. I had to change a lot of files in the project, but in the end it worked, and that was good.
Have you ever worked at a really small startup before?
Yes, a couple of times. This blood donation company from US was small. There were more people than your own, but it was small. I worked for a Brazilian company, which was my first job opportunity as an internship in the time, and there were only me and the manager. He gave me the things to do. So those were the two smaller companies I worked, and I liked the things I had to do because it was a work where I had everything on hand, not like a big company where everything I will do I need to ask permission. Something someone I have to talk to someone. Sometimes I spend more time talking to people than doing the actual work. When it comes to smaller companies, we do have more power and access, so we can do more things quickly. So I guess that's good from my point of view. But there is the other thing that is more responsibility. So there are not many layers, so I have to be always aware of what I'm doing in order to avoid doing something wrong and goes to production and breaks everything.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there are those two sides, the good one and the bad one, in my
Yeah.
point of
There
view.
are much less guardrails than
Yeah.
at a larger company. I can attest to that. Um, I have to ask because it's a relevant topic these days, but have you worked with any AI technologies or do you personally use any AI tool?
Okay, I use ChatGPT on day by day, but for studies and generating code. And on the current project at Disney, we do use Copilot integrated with the IDE. But on my current job, there are no much things that AI can do because most of the time I'm trying to understand what I have to do, and talking to people and things like that. And sometimes I need to know what's the repository to get the code from, things like that. There are a lot of microservices. So there is a long way to get the code, and then I go to the code and change just a couple of lines and commit and go to code review. So I'm not currently building a lot of code. So I do use the AI more to search inside documentations because we do have that too, than generating code. But on personal projects, I use it, and I guess it's very good to write a comment and it gives me a method or something like that, and I just have to adapt. I used to think that before AI, I had to go to Chrome, search for something on Stack Overflow, then copy, paste, and adapt that code. Now I don't have to leave my IDE. I just type the comment, and the code is there, and I can make changes. So that's the use I'm doing currently.
How have you found the accuracy of when you're using it to like generate a function or a line of code? Have you found it to be like useful, or you need to change it some, or is it getting better?
At the beginning, it was very bad from my point of view. I tried to do some things at AI. I guess it was on the early 2023. I guess it was just after the launch of GPT, and on that situation, I had a lot of trouble using the AI. But on recent times, it's getting better and better. So uh, I think it's almost generating everything I need there. I just don't have to change everything and change a lot of things as I had to do in the past. In the past, for instance, I remember a situation where I asked it to generate some code for Spring, but it generated from a totally different version than the one I was using. So I had to change almost everything it did. And then when I asked it to generate for the correct version, it didn't generate to. It generated for another version. So, but those kind of things doesn't happen anymore on recent versions.
Yep, good. Um, are there any AI technologies that you wish you could work with or that you're excited about?
I like the video generation tools. I guess that's amazing. But I never took some time to put a hand on it and generate some videos. But that's something I guess is amazing. I use it to generate music too, with Suno. It's
Mm,
because I'm a musician. I make music, not professional of course, but I play guitar, bass, drums, try to sing, and I know a lot of work I have to do to build a small music. But today I just go to ChatGPT, generate the lyrics, put on Suno, and it's it's done. It's there.
it's
So I think
done.
it's
It's
magical, and it's better than I'm doing my own. So I like
it's
it very much.
crazy. Yeah, yeah. Um, Speaking of which, I wanted to ask, I saw that you have quite a large LinkedIn following and a good YouTube channel too. Can you tell me what that is about?
Okay, I do have this YouTube channel where I, record my daily life as a software developer. And, before that, it was a hobby channel where I post my music and things I do on my cars and things like that. But one day I posted a video about my daily routine, and then this video made a lot of success. Then I started focusing more in technology topics, and I launched a course about career, how you can have a better LinkedIn profile, resume, and things like that. And currently, most of the time, I'm just comment news from the technology, but related topics like generation and things like that. And people used to like, so I do a live streaming every day. Is about 1 hour of this streaming, and I make cuts of this stream and launch it as videos, and I record my routine too. and I put that there, and I make some money and contacts, and that's been something amazing. This week I, changed my haircut, and everybody's talking about that. There's a lot of memes because I had a different style before, so it's something very funny. It's opportunity to, make contact with a lot of people, go to some events. Sometimes I'm walking on the street and people come to say, "Hey, take a picture with me." So that's something very very good to do.
Very cool, very cool. So are the people that are subscribed to that, are they like engineers also?
Yes, most of them are from the software community.
Hmm.
Most of my followers are developers or people that want to become developers. So
Hmm.
sometimes they ask, "Oh, how can I do to become a developer?" Sometimes there are Brazilian developers that want to work for companies from other countries, and they ask, "How can I do that?" So I have the sponsorship from an English school, for instance, that I say, "Oh, go there and learn English." That's the first step, and then you go here and do this course with the other partnership. So things like that.
Is that the same for LinkedIn also? They're all following you on LinkedIn.
Sorry.
On LinkedIn, is that are is that also the people that are following you are software people?
Yes, they are follow software people, most of them too. It's almost the half of the size in number of followers I have on LinkedIn. I have the double of it on YouTube. So most people comes from YouTube and follow me on LinkedIn.
Cool, cool. Well, before we run out of time, I wanted to ask if do you have any questions for me?
Okay, if you could give an example of a feature that you as a company had to implement on recent times, just to have an idea of what kind of work I would be doing if I join this position.
Oh yeah, sorry, I should mention. Um, Something that has come up that is something we want to work on is a way to view analytics about your community. So if you want to see how many of your members are active, what are they doing, how many events are they attending, how many people have joined in the past 4 weeks, if when you want to see metrics like that, currently we don't have a way for them to really view these numbers or any place for them to do that. So what we want to do is create a an external portal for admins to be able to log in and then view metrics. So that would be the next big project that we would be working on. This is probably going to be a Next.js React site, also on Vercel, so using TypeScript and React, and then hooking into our PostgreSQL backend.
Oh, okay, I see. That's good.
Yeah,
Sounds interesting.
cool. So I think the next step would be to do a more technical round. And for that, what I would like for us to do is we'll just have architectural discussions about how just kind of how you think about things. If you could also maybe bring a either a code sample, or we can look at something on your GitHub, anything that's public. It just up to you. Something for us to look at, and then you can talk about like, here's what I did here and why I did it.
Oh, okay,
Does that
okay.
sound good?
That sounds good. This example doesn't need to be on exactly the same technologies we have here, like Next.js and React.
No. I mean, if you have something like that, that's great too. But bring any samples you want. I mostly just want to hear you talk about them, and we can discuss, the thought process.
Okay, okay, we can do that.
Cool. So yeah, I will follow up with an email, and please, I'll send you a link to book a meeting, another meeting with me. If you could do that in the next, book the meeting for maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, then that works best for me.
Okay, good. I will do that.
Cool. Anything else from you? Taina, anything from you either?
Nothing from my side.
No, for me, it's okay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much to both of you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice one.
Bye.
Bye.
Então, isso aí. O problema aqui é só essas tecnologias aí que eu não conheço o Next.js, né? Mas posso fazer um cursinho aí rapidinho para entender mais. Vamos ver, né? Na expectativa aí. Vamos ver se o cabelo ajudou. Já foi para marcar uma reunião aí. Mais uma, né? Que seja desafio técnico. Eu não pintei o cabelo, cara. Penteado, não acostumei com isso aqui ainda. Eu comecei, achei que era um horário, trem, mas era outro, tá ligado? Deixa eu botar aqui assim, ó. Tá aí, ó.